What's going on, everybody? Tarek Fattal here, another episode, the final episode for 2025. I always feel like we got to bring this back, you know what I mean? It's how we celebrate back in the, 40s. Like, we made it. 2025, listen, it wouldn't be possible without you guys. Thanks for being here. I have no idea what will unfold tonight, but it is a holiday party themed finale. We've got some guests coming in. I haven't said on social media or anywhere really who is coming on, but there'll be some familiar faces, some familiar voices. Right now I've got 3 people lined up, but man, who knows where the night will take us. But thanks for being here. This will be our final show for 2025. I can't believe how fast it's gone. And it's, literally, I want to say August 10th. Does that sound right? Was our first show 1 week before week 0? That sounds about right. 8th, 10th, something like that. And, man, you guys have pretty much been here every Monday night, and we've been really consistent. I think there was one, Rory O'Donoghue. Thanks for coming in here, Rory, Daniel, Vinu. Man, oh, look at Dallas in the chat. Guys, this is awesome. ZYN. Guys, I appreciate it. Again, last episode here for 2025, so really appreciate you guys being here, having some fun. And again, we got guests coming in. We'll talk a little football, and we'll talk a little bit of what transpired. We might have to look back at some of the best moments during the stream, because in year 1, we broke this is not hyperbole, one of the biggest high school sports stories in the last couple decades. Easily was with the Money Man interview. So we had that on here. We had Carson Palmer on here. We had Matt Logan on. We had John Ellinghaus. We had the Sarah coach, Scott Altenberg, and they were, they were going at it over Crampgate. I mean, we had some top-end, top-shelf content creation live moments. Man, and so I think that is all not only because of the channel, but because of you guys. And in that 3-4 month window, the channel has grown 1,600 plus subscribers. So guys, really, really appreciate you being here. And of course, without further ado, I got to bring on my guy. So here comes Aram.
All right, bro, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. What's up, dude?
Merry Christmas, everybody. How's it going, Tarek?
Man, I feel like we made it. We didn't know. I just kind of, there's an element of that to me here, just kind of being live and seeing people chime in. And look, the numbers aren't huge right now, although they were a lot bigger throughout the year. I get it. Football's over. I get it. It's Christmas. I get it. Breaks coming up. I get all that. But the faithful have decided to tune in to the last episode of the year for Fattal Factor. So a part of me feels like, man, we weren't sure where this season was going to go, where this channel was going to go, where this show was going to go, where we were going to go. And I would say it's been quite the success.
Yeah, totally agree. And we didn't really know, like you said, what was going to come of it. You hope when you start something that you're excited about, that other people feel that excitement and stuff like that. And I think that the tact we took of just saying, hey, if there's one person out there that's liking it, and then you and I are having fun, then it's mission accomplished. And the rest will take care of itself.
Yes.
Kind of like that in sports, Tarek. Like we always talk about with transfer portal and opt-outs and stuff like that. And, keeping the main thing, which is, I think, what we did here. And, it paid off. It's rubbed off. It's not over yet, obviously. We're just taking a little holiday break, and then, back at it we go.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely take the rest of December off here, guys, and then we'll see what, we'll probably come back like second week of January, something like that. It's going to be a little break, just like everybody else. There'll be some hoops to talk about for sure, but there's certainly going to be some football to talk about. Hires, fires. We got the Jay Sarah job likely to be announced this week. I've got a beat on who that's going to be. And then we got Oaks Christian job is open. St. Francis job is open. But Long Beach Poly job is open. And you never know, Aram. There's always a late, little like dismissal. January rolls around and you're thinking everyone's good to go for the fall. And and something happens and there's another coach out the door. And then not to mention there'll be movement, right? Even in high school football, a kid will finish his fall semester and then transfer for the spring semester somewhere else. So that is very, very possible. But our numbers are growing in here, guys. Thanks for being here. We do have some guests that are going to chime in here eventually. We're kind of waiting to see when they pop up. But as of right now, I don't see anybody else. But that's okay. That's okay. I think, Aram, we got to just tell the people what the heck happened over the weekend. Just a quick recap in regard to Santa Margarita. I wrote a column about it that actually took off better than I thought. A lot of people reposted it and commented on it. And really the premise of my column was after Carson Palmer parachuted into the high school sports scene, the high school football scene here in Southern California, which is the most competitive in the country, the guy won everything. And so not only is he a good coach, but to me, he's an anomaly. Because most high-level coaches, pro, college, they come down, they think they could reinvent the wheel, win games with their knowledge, and it's like, man, at the end of the day, these are 15, 16-year-old kids. And of course, Palmer had some imports, but that's the name of the game now, so I don't even chastise him for that. And he has a good coaching staff. That's what you're supposed to do as a head coach, is put a staff together. And man, they beat Mater Dei, they beat Kernis Centennial twice, and then, yeah, man, they won the whole kit and caboodle by beating De La Salle, who is arguably the most storied high school football program in America. So, man, what a season he just had.
Yeah, and trend setting, Tarek. You know, you and I have talked about this. You know, what's coming down the pike here, so to speak, with coaching decisions coming up in the area. Will there be a lot more former big-name professional guys, college guys even, that are going to jump in to the high school scene now? We're seeing it a little bit. We're hearing about it a lot. Carson Palmer obviously made that transition, and I don't think anyone else can really expect to do what he did. It's not realistic, but they may want to try, and it could get very exciting here in SoCal here with some big names going forward.
Yeah, the other storyline and charge to keep. Thank you for joining us. That is Rio Hondo Prep. So that's another great storyline that I followed this year, that we followed this year, and they made a third CIF championship in a row, and man, just fell short in the state championship game, and I was there, and Sonora was just the better team. I mean, it is what it is. No opinion area, tried to go, but eventually you could just tell he wasn't 100%. I think he came out of the game like in the second quarter, maybe even the late first quarter. But a great run by Rio Hondo Prep. I did have a fun interaction with a Sonora. I don't know if he was, I don't think he was a coach, but he might have been like a coach's dad.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell us, man. You tweeted this and it got a little react.
Yeah, it did. So, if you're familiar, Saddleback College, really nice facility, junior college. They have a legit stadium, and to get up to the press box, there's an elevator, which is rare for junior college stadiums. How nice this place was. So I'm in the elevator, and there's actually an elevator attendant, an older gentleman with a Sonora hat and polo, maybe in his late 60s, early 70s. That's why I think he was like like the coach's dad or something like that. But he was clearly up in the coach's box with the Sonora guys, being one of the guys. But I don't think, to me, it came off like someone's dad. So he's in there, and then these two elderly ladies walk onto the elevator, and they're just draped in Rio Hondo Prep gear. And so it's kind of silent. Oh, you're a Sonora fan. Hey, how was the drive? Oh, it was good. I mean, he was friendly and everything. And then he just kind of breaks the silence by looking at us like this. He just kind of goes like, Sonora's only got about 1,000 kids, and we don't recruit. And the sweet older ladies, they kind of didn't know what to say, but they remind me of my grandmother. I mean, these three people, the gentleman and the two ladies, about the same age, late 60s. The ladies might have even been a little older, maybe mid 70s, early 70s. They were definitely older, sweet ladies, and they just turned to him and went, "Oh, that's not." And they were being modest, nice. They really weren't sure how to react, and so I just felt the need to say, sir, Rio Hondo Prep only has 150 kids in the whole school, and only about 80 boys play football. And his jaw hit the ground, because I was just speaking as a matter of fact. I could understand how that tweet came off like I was some Rio Hondo Prep fan or something. I was just sharing with the guy. he had every right to share his info. So I felt, hey, if you're gonna share that, you should probably know that this is what Rio Hondo Prep's coming in with. If you think 1,000 and no recruiting's a big deal in a small town, which is great, hey, you should know this is a small school that it operates in this manner. And his jaw hit the ground. He really didn't respond. The ladies chuckled and thought it was cute. And that was it. So I tweeted about it, and it got all kinds of response. Like, man, you can't compare apples to oranges. And, oh, they recruit. And I'm just like, you know, DK chimed in. And I just said, you know, the biggest thing I can think of that is recruiting, if you even want to call it that, is that this is a program that's got a junior high tackle football team. It's like, big deal. So anyway, I thought it was pretty funny, man.
Yeah, I thought some of the reacts on Twitter were pretty funny too. You know, Bro Tarek is officially like, or I shouldn't say officially like it just happened, but he's jumped in the gang, everybody. He's like, you know, he's a made man as of several years ago. So you're not going to have him not kind of defend the area, you know, the local thing here. So yeah, thanks, Tarek. Your street cred's still sky high.
Yeah, I just thought the guy like needed to know, you know. But yeah, there was a couple people that chimed in like I was out of line or something. It's like, relax, you know, take it easy. We're still kind of waiting for our first guest, and okay, okay. Well, we'll see how that goes. Let's see if he's in here. He's not. Okay. What else, Aram? I don't know if did you watch much of the state championship games?
You know, Saturday was a very busy day for us at work. Some, and I was being texted, but the thing is, Tarek, neither game, you know, the Pacifica game, you know, well, all right. So
that game was good. That was a decent game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other two, Margarita and Rio Hondo Prep, you know, really weren't. It was kind of evident somewhat early which direction they were going. And, you know, it kind of made it so you didn't want, you know, you didn't need to turn it on. However, my text messages were blowing up. Several people, it seemed like a lot of people were taking in the game on Spectrum. I guess that whole thing really worked out. And so, you know, there was a lot of analysis and a lot of, you know, conclusions and stuff, you know, being sent around. And I was certainly privy to that, man. So.
I'm gonna the biggest headline of the weekend, and I think this is worth talking about, was the fight. The South El Monte and San Francisco Balboa fight. So I'm gonna run it here while we're talking about it. And guys, just so you know, this game technically didn't end. It was a 42-8 blowout, but there was a minute to go, and there might have been a couple kneel downs or maybe a play or two to finish it out. But it broke out, and I'm sitting at Saddleback College, and I'm thinking, sorry, everybody, this is a headline. So I ended up making like a headline and wrote a story about it. And then Mitch Stevens, my colleague at High School on the Side, was there, and he talked to the Balboa coach, and the Balboa coach had some interesting quotes, man. He just said, I kind of want to read it verbatim. Give me a second here, because I thought this was interesting. Actually, Aram, now that I think about it, you might have a comment on this. I don't know if you read the story, which you probably didn't, which is fine. But I want you to read.
I retweeted it though.
Yeah, I know you did. Okay, listen to this.
You had that thing up like 3 minutes after they cleared the field.
Yeah, I did. I mean, it wasn't that quick, but I went on NFHS, clipped it, made a video, uploaded it to YouTube, and then made a story out of it with a headline. But listen to this quote. Listen to this quote from Balboa's Fred Velasquez is the coach. Quote, "People don't realize they're two similar communities." And he's talking about South El Monte. You tell me what you think about this. "They come from gang-infested areas. So do we. We're trying to do our job." He's talking about both coaches. "Making sure they stay out of the grave and stay out of jail. Their natural reaction kicks in. They're not going to stand there and watch 30 guys jump on one of their teammates. I tried to hold them back. So did the assistant coaches. Other than that, I thought it was a great game." What do you think about that, man?
Well, I mean, obviously he can speak on his area. For me, I don't know, man. Is South El Monte necessarily gang infested?
Probably be a good question for maybe our guest if he ever shows up. But Yeah,
I mean,
I thought that was an interesting line, kind of talking for the other school's community a little bit, like, yeah,
yeah.
we both have the same struggles. I don't know if South El Monte is gang infested. I don't know. I really don't. But is it like, would you say it's like a rough part of town even, or no, not even that, or
As far as the SGV goes, I would kind of call it like, lower income, maybe a
oh,
better way to put it. But
okay.
your boy also lives like 15 minutes from there. So, what does that say about me? Um, I don't
Yeah.
know that I would say really any area of the SGV, unless I'm just asleep, is gang infested right now. But I get what he's saying.
Yeah,
Tough kids.
yeah.
It's not the inner city, it's not the streets, but tough kids who need to have that toughness, that chip on their shoulder to do what they do on the football field. We all understand that.
Stevie says no. South El Monte gang infested? No. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of don't think so either. But point taken. And I thought what was more. By the way, young Gabriel says that Bro Tarek is the best nickname ever. So
Dal
yeah,
says Mexican mafia messes around there. That's what he's saying, for whatever that's worth. We also need to give an update on our boy Rory. Remember the weight loss, the Vegas trip,
yes,
so on
yeah,
and so forth. But finish your thought. He said that's sarcasm. Okay, okay, okay,
yeah, yeah. I
okay.
was gonna say
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
that deep breath knows the
No, he does.
areas.
I love that you and dude, that's funny you call him D Ruth because that's like a lot of people like that's funny. A lot of people call him that.
Unless he hangs at the golf and stuff down there.
No.
Yeah,
Rory says it's not as rough as Porter Ranch. Now that is sarcasm. Finish your South El Monte
yeah, you're
point if
gonna
you
say
have one.
that's true, bro.
No,
Um,
no.
Yeah, I just, I get his sentiment is
Yeah.
basically what I'm saying. But what I thought was more kind of scary or interesting or funny was the fight out in the parking lot, right?
Okay. Yep. Great point. So,
Yeah, the
so,
parents.
um, look, look. You guys can see this on the stream. In my off time, I play this game called Arc Raiders. Look at like my trending. Look at my recommended videos. So just so you know what I'm up to when I'm just
Mark's a gamer,
yeah,
bro.
I'd like to play video games. A lot of people don't, and the video game, you never know, man. I could start streaming on this channel here and there. You just never know. We'll see how dormant the days how dormant the days get, Steve. Dallas Aaron wouldn't step foot south side of Rinaldi, which is hilarious. But yeah, okay. So Mitch Stevens was there, so there was no championship ceremony. Oh God. There was no championship ceremony. There was no presentation of the trophy. No handshake, obviously, and clearly some chirping spilled into the parking lot, which is scary, Aram. You're right. And that's never good because now it's like the wild west out there. But anyway, that's what transpired over the weekend. Santa Margarita thumps De La Salle. Rio Hondo Prep fell short. Pacifica of Oxnard fell short. Barstow won the state championship. If anybody cares out there. And then this South El Monte game got out of hand with a fight. Okay, we were gonna shift gears here, I think. Okay, let me get the chat back up, and then I'm gonna give you a little Rory update.
Vinu's here.
Let's see here. Stand by. Bang. Okay, so I don't want to use numbers because I don't think we're there yet. But for those that don't remember, and thank you all that are watching, Chris Four, thank you for being here. We're creeping up. Our numbers are creeping up. Did the Monday night game finish? No.
Coach Four got mentioned. On JB's show, on Coach JB's show.
Okay. You watch that?
About the Compton College stuff.
Mm.
So I don't know if he called him Coach 4A or 4. I think he called him 4. But yeah, got a picture of his tweet up there and everything. So yeah. Coach 4 is going big time now.
I was gonna ask you. So quick Rory update.
Yeah.
So he says you can use numbers, Tarek. It's fine. Let's wait, man. Trust me. Let's wait on that. Let's wait till you. This maybe could be even a little bit more of an incentive. Well, maybe using the numbers might motivate you. I don't know. For right now, my gut tells me don't use the numbers, so I'm gonna stay away from the numbers. But I've got some notes in here from recent weigh-ins. Let's go ahead and check them out. Now, I have been writing down his weigh-ins for every first of the month, though he does them like bi-weekly. He goes to Dallas's house, and Dallas makes sure that the scale, like it's all on the up and up, and which is kind of funny. And I think I really, it's just funny. Like he goes to Dallas, and Dallas like makes sure that the scales, it's his scale, his surroundings. Like there's no Photoshop or anything like that with the photos. So,
God, where's the trust?
well, I mean, okay, now that's where I think Rory, who's in the chat, would say he probably needs that because he has in the past, I mean, this is just the truth, he has in the past started a journey with, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to go to this class, I'm going to go to rowing, I'm going to go to the gym, and dude, it falls off real fast. And Dallas can actually tell you, man, I wonder if we should get Dallas on. What do you want to get Dallas on to talk about
Sure.
this?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm down.
this would be hilarious. Oh well, hold on.
I think you have someone else, Tarek.
Yeah, we got someone coming in 6 minutes.
No,
No. Okay, he's finally here. Okay,
yeah.
Fred, if you can, I just like ruined it, but I love it. Okay, spin your phone sideways if you can hear me. Oh yeah, this is gonna be great.
Yeah.
Okay, stand by. Stand by. Hold on, let me get, okay. Oh, this is good. This is gonna be good. Ladies and gentlemen, San Gabriel Valley's finest. It's Fred Robledo. And he just went fight on! He just did the SC sign!
There ain't a fight on, that's a hey how.
Fred, thanks for joining the show, man. This is awesome.
Oh yeah, I'm glad to be here. I just came back. My son plays soccer at Walnut, so I'm rushing back. I wanted to get on here with you guys. What's going on? What are we talking about?
Yeah, actually, we were talking a little bit about this South El Monte fight.
Yeah.
We don't have to hash it out too much more because we kind of already talked about it. But there's a quote from the Balboa coach after the game, and he talks about both communities being gang related or like gang infested communities, and our jobs as coaches is to make sure that these players like stay out of the grave and not in jail. And I thought it was a little dramatic, but I don't know anything about that community, Fred. So I was asking Aram, and then Steve Ramirez goes, that area is not gang infested, but I thought maybe it's a rough part of we all understood his sentiments, but I thought there'd be no better person to ask than you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think of it as gang infested. There have never been any problems that I can recall at South El Monte. They have a lot of heated rivalries over the years with the Arroyos and with the Gabrielinos and with El Monte, and you never see. Aaron, can you recall? I don't recall ever a big brawl or a big fight. Those are real
Yeah.
proud communities more than anything to me. I think that was a one-off. What happened? State championship and obviously the guy who's talking is from San Francisco. He doesn't know this area at all.
Right.
Maybe he's just, I don't know what he's heard about El Monte or that part of the San Gabriel Valley, but certainly wouldn't, are there gangs around that area? Probably, yeah. I mean, it can be a rough area, not necessarily right there, but surrounding areas at times. But I don't think I don't think of South El Monte football as those kind of problems over the years. It's just not.
No, I appreciate
That's what I said,
I
Fred.
think, yeah, I think everyone's kind of the quote comes off a little crazy.
Yeah.
It's okay. Well, Fred, thanks for joining us, man. I mean, I think if you're on, we got to ask you about Rio Hondo Prep. I mean, just a quick little, you were there. I thought Sonora was the better team, and that was kind of the end of that. I know No Opinionary was trying to go. I want to say maybe at his best, he was like 70%. I want to say he came out of the game like in the first half, right? Kind of hobbled off, and that was that. So your thoughts on that, and maybe the season even?
I think they were saying he's 80 to 90%, and I think they were being more optimistic than what was reality.
Realistic,
He wasn't himself. If you watched him, I was kind of fortunate. I got to watch from the second round on their entire playoff run. It just kind of matched up with teams being eliminated and where I got to go. So I got to see them 4 games in a row. And Noah, the game that I really saw him against Troy, where he was just going off. I mean, it's a different level when that guy is healthy and ready to go, then everything else kind of falls into place. Those other guys that they have play their more of their natural positions, and when you think of those guys having to go both ways a lot, when Noah comes out, all of a sudden, those 4 or 5 backs that come in like Christian Lee and the other guys, it just changes the whole way that they do things. But you look at Rio. I mean, I'm sure Aram's talked about it too. This is one of the greatest 3-year dynasty runs in San Gabriel Valley history. There's no doubt going from Division 9 to 7 to 5 to winning 2 regional titles. You've talked about it. They don't do it with any. They don't do it with transfers. It's the guys that grow up in their program, and I hear a lot of people saying like they've got to schedule tougher teams next year. Maybe they go to Division 4, Division 3. They're not built like that. This was kind of a one-off
Yeah.
in terms of this senior class that came through. Enjoy it. It was a special senior class. These are one of those ones that come through every 5, 10, 15 years. I mean, who knows how long it's going to be before they have a team like this again. But is Rio going to continue to be a solid program? Yeah,
Always.
they always have. And I don't think their championship runs are necessarily over, Tark. Maybe they're not in Division 5 next year. Maybe they're in Division 6.
Right.
Maybe they're in Division 7 where they've been before. And the thing about that program and the way competitive equity is set up, it's really about you get these teams in the right divisions, right? There's 16 teams, and number 1 and 16, there's not a lot that separates them. You put Rio Hondo Prep in any of those playoff divisions set up like that, then it comes down to coaching and what they do as a football team. So they're going to have a chance with their coaching, no matter what division they go in. I think to have chances to win championships. So I don't know that their run is over. I don't think there'll be a Division 5 team next year, but this team can continue to win championships, and it was fun to watch, man. It was I couldn't believe it. I really thought 5. I'll be honest with you. I talked to Mark Carson before that first game when they had to go. It was at Thousand Oaks. They had to go play.
Oh, I
and
thought they were going to lose that game.
It was the Boise State quarterback. Everything that we
They
heard.
got an Arizona State tight end. They got dudes.
Navy. Yeah, and I thought that was it.
And they had to come from behind in that game.
And they were down in that game. I was at the Charter Oak Mirror game, and they were down, and I'm like, okay,
here it is.
Yeah, this is where it all ends. And they came back and won that game, put 50 on them, and then the run was on. And I thought it was pretty incredible going to the Redondo Union game where they won that. They beat that team who I thought was physically superior to them, and they took care of business without Noah. And then last week, that team, Santa Fe Christian, that was a really, really good football team they beat. So it was just incredible. 15-1. They're going to finish ranked number 1 in the San Gabriel Valley. I'm going to have them ahead of Damien and Almont in all of those. They were above those teams anyway at the end of the year in the HS rating. So incredible run for Mark Carson and you guys. It was fun, Tark. It was fun to cover.
Aram, I know it's.
Is that Steve Fryer? Is that Steve Fryer sighting?
Oh
Yeah.
man, okay.
Right.
This is gonna be fun.
Fryer.
Okay, hold on. Let me get Fryer on here. Okay, this is new. This is unprecedented for Fattal Factor, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Quad Cam. Woo! Wow.
Hey, why is Aram wearing sunglasses? Has someone
No,
I
think that's just his holiday party contribution, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Okay.
Freddie, haven't you seen my little logo that Tarek made for me based off of his interpretation of how I dress and my look is? Well, for a person that never wears sunglasses, he thinks I rock them 24/7. So yeah, here it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome OC Register Steve Fryer. We had a ball at Saddleback College, and just for those, because there's more people joining, so if you're just joining, okay, my buddy Dallas goes, man, I can't lie, I'm feeling kind of left out. All right, stick around, Dallas. Maybe we'll
have you given Dallas his driver back yet?
Yeah.
And Dallas knows what I'm talking about.
Dude, don't get him going.
Dallas knows what I'm talking about.
Don't get him going. But yeah, we got Steve Fryer on, Fred Robledo in the Santa hat. I don't have name tags for everybody on the quad. You guys all know who Aram, of course, and myself. Guys, and thanks for joining. If you're just joining us, this is the holiday party edition of the Fattal Factor, our last show of 2025. We've had a ball. We started that first or second week of August, and we've been consistent every single Monday throughout the year. We've broken, man, we had the Money Man on here. We had Carson Palmer on here. We had Matt Logan on here. We've had John Ellinghaus and Scott Altenberg on here. Mike Moon from Pacifica was on here. And now we've got some of the media darlings in high school in the Fattal Factor. So Steve, thanks for joining us. And actually, I was going to ask Steve, Fred this question, though it's not really his area. So I want to start with you, and then Fred, go ahead and chime in. I think just given the dust has settled a little bit, not quite. It's only been a couple days, but Carson Palmer, right, kind of dropping in at a not out of nowhere in a football landscape, but to drop into the most competitive arena of high school football in America. And sure, he had some transfers. People want to, there's these transfers, those transfers, like everyone's got transfers. So why indict the guy? I don't get it. Point is he drops in, he wins the Trinity League, he wins the Division I title, and he wins the state title in year one. And so Steve, you've been around a long time. You know these programs try and go out and get college guys, NFL guys, and it really, more often than not, doesn't really work, let alone work this fast at this level. So your take on that, and then Steve, I want you to chime in on that. Or excuse me, Fred.
You can hear me okay, right? My first time with you.
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, cool. Well, once Carson Palmer got that job, I think a lot of people wanted to be part of that, right? Winning begets winning. Now that they've got that thing, all these championships done, they're going to get more kids. You know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
If you're good, people are going to want to go. And, whether you're Disneyland or, a really good steakhouse or a good football team, there's a reason the Dodgers draw more than the Angels, guys. You know what I mean?
Good point.
If I'm Shohei Ohtani and I'm looking for a West Coast team to play for, and I want to play meaningful games in October, let's see, Angels or Dodgers? Yeah. I'm probably gonna go and see. Look, check it out. Check that out, little bobblehead Shohei.
Yeah, Steve, you're an Angels guy, and you're saying
we talked
Big
about
time.
that saddleback.
Yeah, but I'm also realistic. I'm not an idiot. Well, my wife's in Europe, so I can call myself an idiot because usually she does. Okay, but so people are going to want to go. I told everybody this. I told Carson this. I told Andy Sulik, the president, and Sam Martin, who hired him. I said, man, I knew this was going to happen, but I didn't think it was going to happen this year or today. And they turned it around. He wisely kept Steve Fafita on as defensive coordinator, who took over the team as interim coach at the second half of 2024 and did a wonderful job. I thought the guy could have carried it on and should have still been the head coach, because I saw how hard those kids played for that guy, for Steve Fafita, in the second half of 2024. Then, he gets TJ Hushmanzada in, he gets Mike Cypher, special teams guy, brings in all these dudes who can coach and can teach, and they've been taught and all that. And the quarterback came in from Florida, who had kind of a rough first half, but the second half of the season,
yes, that's
great.
a good call.
Then
he really came on.
He struggled early on. He had a lot to do. They gave him a lot of playbook, and he figured it out and got better. You watched him from the first half of the, quicker response, flicking it out quicker. All those things came together for the senior quarterback who's going to Tulane, Trace Johnson. And then Trent Mosley got healthy. He missed about 5 or so games from Centennial game on. He missed a lot of ball games, and then he just got it going, and he's fantastic. And that defense was ferocious. Dash Fafita transferred over there from Mater Dei,
right? And
because he wanted to play for his uncle, Steve, and things just got rolling. And the Nineveh guy, and Samote transferred it from Jay Sayre. They want to be part of that.
Yeah. Catawongo, in my opinion, might have been the most. I know Vandermeer, huge disruptor, but Catawonga, man, just like basically like a building in the game. He's just such a large human with so much strength. I just know that he was a problem too. Quick pin in this real quick.
Fast. And then Holani at linebacker and Dash Rafita
Fred,
doing your stay out thing, running from sideline to sideline.
We lost Fred. Fred, I don't know if you're out there, but if you can hear, just leave and come back, and I'll just pop you up. Fred was like basically cussing, like what the, like, you know, and it's fine. It's fine. Or Fred, excuse me.
He's here, Tarek.
Freddie is?
Yeah.
I don't see him. Yeah, he's not
So
coming
anyway,
up.
that's what's going on with Santa Margarita. They just got it rolling really quick. You know, they wanted to have a football program this way. And here's the other thing about Santa Margarita that I found kind of interesting was that, you know, we've seen some big championship teams in the upper levels of high school football. And you kind of look at them, they celebrate, you kind of go, man, just knock it off, dude. Never had to say that with Santa Margarita, guys.
Hold on.
That's interesting.
Okay, source of two is already occupied. If you can.
That's a good take.
Okay, here we go. I got him back. Sorry. I was doing a little technical difficulties on my
I didn't
side.
say anything interesting anyway. So
No, you did. No,
Steve, you're about to. Since Aram's got questions here for you and Freddie. Freddie, you got us now.
Am I here? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
All right.
So, Steve and Freddie, this is something we've discussed a lot here on this show and even somewhat on Spaces. But now that we have the full season of data in, and Freddie, we'll start with you, Steve, then we'll go to you for the answer to this. Well, okay, maybe we won't start with Freddie. Maybe we'll start with Steve.
This is what you deal with on your Spaces.
Yeah.
Keep going.
You
go
can
ahead.
kind of hear him fumbling around.
I know. He's probably getting phone calls. Go
use
ahead.
your laptop, Freddie. Yeah, probably getting phone calls. But still, Steve, I'll ask it, to you, and then we'll get Freddie back, and he can chime in. The major sort of shifts in dynamics of the way the Southern section was sort of structured and run this season.
Right.
Starting first with the crackdowns, if you will. I don't know if the final numbers bear that out. Freddie, be paying attention to this question because you're next after this. But the crackdown on the transfers, we saw a lot more, at least high-profile stuff, with transfers being denied, major violations, schools getting in trouble, coaches being let go, things being blown up, the money man comes along. I'd like to start with that. And then the second part is, let's just start with that. Your thoughts on that, Steve? To me, it was unprecedented. What did you think? And does it signal like a sea change for the way things are going to be run, at least during this regime at CIF?
The CIF incorporated something that made them better equipped to check on residencies about whether or not a kid actually did do a valid change of address. They have a way. They're not going to say what it is, but they've got a way. And, it's sort of like, and they want to stay ahead of it. They don't want people to know what they're doing because then somebody's going to go, oh, well, they're doing that. Well, then we'll do this. It's sort of like drug testing Olympics. Just when you think you've got it figured out, the athletes and their doctors or whatever figure out a way to mask it. Then the Olympic Committee catches up. Then they met. So that's how it's been. The CIF Southern section has a way to check it out to see, and their employment. I go, what are you guys doing? We're not going to tell you, And I go, okay, I get it, and that's fine. They want to, the CIF Southern section historically wants kids to be eligible.
Yeah.
They want kids to play. They're going to do all they can to make sure that kids play. But if it's nefarious, if it's ugly, if it's messed up, if it violates Rule 310, etc., it's not going to happen. Just saying, hey, do things the right way. And I remember Mike West, the commissioner of Southern Section, saying this at the Southern Section councilman. He goes, when he addresses the group in late September, the first day of Southern Section Council meeting of this school year, the council, for people who don't know, has representatives of all the leagues there. It's the legislative making body of the CF Southern Section. So what he said was, to everybody there, all those athletic, he goes, don't be afraid to say no to a transfer. Because a lot of times they're saying yes because we're going to get sued and all that. Southern Section is saying, sort of like, and he didn't say this, but he says, we got your back, guys. Don't be afraid to say no to transfer. Don't get yourself in trouble. Check it out. Don't be afraid to say no. And then somebody comes in, and because one kid messes it up, one set of parents messes it up, 50 kids on that team did everything the right way. One kid screws it up, lays out the whole season. That's awful. And so the Southern Six says, don't be afraid to say no to transfer. Even if it's a really, high visibility, great player who's going to like get you over the top, say no to the dude. It ain't worth it.
I want to chime
Same
in.
question.
I want to chime in real quick, and then we'll go to Fred, because what I talked to some of these high level football coaches about, and Steve will know where I'm going with this. So obviously, most people that are watching, if you don't know, it's up to the schools to police themselves, right? So you got to kind of check out if the student athlete and family transferred. If you do your own policing and the answer is yes, you file that paperwork as truth. CIF takes a look, looks good, they approve it. Something comes up retroactively, then you're going to find some eligibilities and some issues. Here's where the huge difference is. I've got private school coaches telling me that they have their own like police teams basically that go and make sure that when a transfer comes in, they've got their own teams in-house making sure that families completely moved or what have you, because of what you said, Steve. They don't want one bad thing to screw the whole season. And so that same private school coach looks at me and goes, how do you expect big, small, all these other schools that don't have the resources to police themselves in that way? They just have to trust what the family is doing and go, yeah, man, they're telling the truth. Submit the paperwork, and then they get popped. So I like that. Like Wes said that, man. Say no, because if something smells funny, it ain't worth it. You don't have the resources to check it out thoroughly yourself, like some of the big dogs do. You're gonna have to say no. Go ahead, Fred.
Send an assistant coach. Go, hey, Bobby, on your way home, man, go by 1112 West First Street and make sure that Johnny and mom and dad are living there. Good. Just go by there and just knock on the door and see what's up. Look in the mailbox. Just do that on your way home.
Yeah,
Right. You sense fear out there? You smell fear out there over the way they're kind of cracking down or tracking it harder with transfers?
Just
you know what you mean?
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, that was the one thing I got out of just talking to a lot of coaches. They were nervous this year. There were a lot of transfers that went through, but you saw a lot of them, go back in, and they came back nailing some guys. And so I think there were a few situations I could think of in the San Gabriel Valley where coaches were nervous about the paperwork that they turned in, hoping it didn't come back and bite them. And what I think it's going to do, they really did make a statement this year. Look, that they're going to really, cross the T's and dot the I's more than they ever have. And I can tell you, just going into winter with basketball, one situation like Arcadia, Tark, they had a lot of transfers coming in this year, right? And I was talking to them before the season, and they weren't even going to mess with it. Everything is sit-out period. We're not even going to try to get these guys eligible from day one. We're going to be smart. And I think that's what you're going to see going forward is a lot more sit-out guys. If you're not 100% sure, and this is, you used to be able to, like you said, it was kind of an honor system. And they tested that honor system this year a little bit. And I don't think teams want to lose seasons or lose, big chunks of games anymore. So I don't think it's going to slow down transfers, but I think you're going to see a lot more sit-out period situations going forward.
Okay, so my second question, Tarek, if you don't mind, to you guys, Steve and Freddie, and please, just a yes or no answer, and maybe just a quick thought on why you answered yes or no. Steve, we'll start with you. The way that they're doing structuring the playoff divisions now, do you like it? Yes or no, and why?
Yes, I thought it worked out fine. I think we had some really good, and certainly the CF76 showed the data. We didn't have these weird blowouts and stuff like that. So I think it worked out okay. The only thing I'm going to say about it, it needs some changing, but you can't change or adjust a system you don't have.
Okay, Freddie, same question to you, and I know you had been critical of it on the basis of you didn't like seeing and none of us really like this one seed or not one seeds, but league champs being on the road or that type things, or there have been some 16s beating ones. But do you like what you saw this year with the playoff format? With how they division and why?
No, I mean I've been pretty consistent with that.
No.
I think they could do a better job. I don't mind using the computers. I think they can go back and rate the leagues instead of teams, where you're getting teams from the same league going in the same playoff divisions. And I say that because just about every league now are going to competitive equity leagues. They're doing the work for CIF. So you can go back now and put groups of 3 or 4 leagues in this division, next division. Then you have league champions playing third place teams, and it kind of sorts itself out all the way down. So I don't like it like this, because I think it rewards too much mediocrity, and it punishes a lot of the great teams. And I'll go forward even real quickly with the state championships. That's another one where we're taking a beating. I think in that case, in that situation, the open division champion and finalist and Division One champion and finalist. Those should be your top 4 teams, and then you push everything down. And we don't need Division 14 going in the state playoffs or Division 13. You need to go top heavy first, and then roll those teams down, and you'll see a big difference in how those state playoffs play out. Because I don't want to hear about the North talking smack like they are,
Right.
they're doing
We're
something
better at
better
football.
over there than the
Yeah.
South. That's not the case.
Yeah.
It's the way it's set up.
Yeah, and one of the, and just, it's funny you say that, because one of the Northern California state champions is about to take a job down here in Southern California, and I'll leave it at that.
Oh,
But and Fryer knows what I'm
breaking
talking
news.
about. So
Jay Sarah.
but
You have a coach opening?
yeah, yes, that's what we need. That's what we need. No, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys coming on, man. That it's really fun to have you guys on. And Chris Four in the chat goes, "Hey, man, look at Tarek getting the media guys on." I think, not to get gushy, but I think there's an element of prep writers that there's not as many as there used to be, and you guys can speak to that more. And that's kind of what I want to talk about. All of you guys, less than me. I'm only in my 11th year. You guys have been doing it double, triple that. And so
No, you guys, unless you're just referring to Steve and Fred.
I'm talking to you
This is
too.
pretty cool. I feel like the Brady Bunch, right? I gotta look up and see Tarek. I can go to the side and see Aram.
That's
That
good.
works.
That's good. Yeah. But yeah, I just think, at the end of the day, though there's less, I think we're in a aspect of it kind of all on the same team. That's how I've always approached it, and I try to, just be friendly and nice, and hey, I'll see Steve, and we'll exchange notes. Hey man, who looks good in hoops? And Fred and I will exchange notes here and there on a phone call if, we need something. So I think it's awesome that you guys felt comfortable enough to come on. And I guess that's my kind of question for you guys. And Fred, we'll start with you first on this one. Is like, man, what are some of the biggest differences in 2025 as you wrap up high school football season that you can remember and 20 years ago, covering high school football?
Well, I mean, it's Steve knows this. Aram knows it's completely different. We didn't have social media 20 years ago. I mean, you go to a game, and it was the newspaper was everything the next day. That's where everybody ran to read breaking news or to read the game story. For sports writers, it was the golden era. I mean, actually going back to a newsroom, I would go back and kind of see my stories sometimes off the page, go onto the printer, and you got to work with all your guys. I mean, today we're all kind of solo artists within our own area. San Gabriel Valley, I don't have an office to go back to. Steve doesn't have an office to go back to. We kind of work from home, and we go to games, and this is how we communicate. Like right now, if we want to get together as a big group, on voiced things like this. So it's just completely different, and I'm good with it now. It's you get used to it over the years. Things are changing, and I think that I've done okay with change. But I miss the good old day. I know, Steve, you miss those days, don't you, Steve? I mean,
I do.
it's natural. I
And
mean,
we had a blast.
yeah,
Newsroom, it was loud, it was crazy, it was hectic. It was
arguments.
I go back to typewriter days, and typewriters were noisy, you know. You young kids, you don't know what a carbon copy is. I'm the old guy now, So yeah, it was fun, but this is what it is. You can't roll the stone backwards, and here we are, and we're going to make the most of it. And Dan Albano, my partner, and I, and Michael Hunt, we have a blast doing what we're doing. We're going to continue to do things the old way in terms of how we approach covering high school sports, the young people, still doing things the same way. When a coach gets hired, we will wait until the kids know who the coach is, or if the coach is leaving, we will wait and report on it after the kids know. And that holds true. That holds true this week. Holds true.
Yeah.
30. We're gonna wait.
Someone tips me off, Fryer. It's going up right now.
I may have my story already written.
Someone tips me off.
We
It's
all
going
do
up right now.
And I'll say, hey, just let me know when I got green light, go, and then we'll go for it. But nobody should find out. No kid should find out that their coach is leaving from social media, anything like that. And so we're gonna do things the way. When a kid fumbles the ball at the goal line, we're gonna mention the name of the kid who recovered the fumble, not the kid who fumbled the ball away.
Yeah,
we're still gonna do that. We're still gonna do things the old way. There's gonna be some dumbass on social media who's gonna doesn't have those standards. That's cool. If the kid's blessed enough to go play college or pro sports, then he's gonna have to put up with that. But in high school, we ain't gonna do that, man.
So Fred, so Steve, let me ask you this, and I totally respect that. But let's say, so Luke Fahey throws an interception on a game-winning drive.
Right.
Gonna make $2 million in NIL and going to Ohio State. So
Yeah.
you don't write he throws. So I do think it's a case-by-case basis. So that's why I'm bringing him up.
Yeah. If a kid misses 2 free throws with no time left on the clock, I got to put the kid's name in there.
Okay. All right. Okay. So there is a case-by-case.
Oh man, we're gonna do all we can not to embarrass the young people, but once in a while you can't get around it.
No, I get it. Okay, no, fair enough. I just was curious. And I respect that, and I get it. And I think that's one of the biggest differences. And again, I know I haven't been around as long as you guys, but that's one of the biggest differences is I think nowadays more of these kids, Steve, want to be treated like pros because of the social media and the clicks and the views and the NIL. And so to me, that cuts both ways a little bit. Now, am I going to hammer a kid? I've never hammered a kid. But I will be honest about a performance. And not to say that you're not, but I understand it's like instead of who threw the interception, maybe who intercepted the ball at the end of the game. Totally get it. But that's always been a little bit of a difference for me.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
And it is hard.
Yeah, you got to go case by case. But if I can avoid it, let's avoid it. But if I got, if my hands is tied and I got to go, well, we got to go.
Well, I think, not to get too into the weeds on this, but I think you can also say, if it's Fahey, Mission Viejo threw an interception at the 6-yard line to end the game, that type of thing, instead of saying Fahey threw an interception to end the game. You just use team instead of the kid's name in that. And at least that's what I used to always do. By the way, Freddie knows this. Tarek, I don't know if you don't. Frankly Fryer, the column, the Orange County Register column, that is like the original hot take. I don't know if you know that. That was hot takes before there were hot takes.
I did not know that. When did that stop?
That's when he used the typewriter.
Well,
this is fantastic.
It was must read.
Wait, did you really use a typewriter, Fryer? You go that far back?
Oh, I go back to typewriter days. Sure.
You do.
Wow.
That's crazy. I didn't. So really quick, Steve, my dad was a sports writer before me. I used to watch him on the typewriter in the house when you're hammering out a story, and then he put that paper in what looked like a fax machine, and that fax machine would spin around and send it to the paper. Then someone would have to get it and read it. And same thing, right? You were that era?
That was in the office. I never had one of those, but when I covered the Kings, they had one of those things. They wrapped it up in the
yeah, crazy.
Yeah. But then we had Telebubbles, which was a giant computer, about the size, 3 feet by 3 feet, and then had a screen about as big as my cell phone.
Yeah, I came in right when the Trashers started.
Who's the best football player in Southern California, boys?
Oh wow, look at Fryer. The best football
Southern
player?
California, it's the Santa Margarita guy.
Yeah, it's
Section. Trent Mosley's the best player.
Yeah, without a doubt.
it's hard for me to pick against that guy, man. And I, for me, when I'm looking at like player of the year, and Fryer and I I know who they're picking, and I don't want to, and it's a great pick. Their pick is a great pick, but and but my point is when I think about who I player of the year, hoops, baseball, whatever, I think, man, who is impacting winning the most? And so the guy that I think you're gonna the guy that I'm pretty sure you're picking probably does that actually more than Trent Mosley, which is crazy to think about, which is why he's a great pick. But yeah, man, if I had to just take the guy that I think impacted the team the most at the right time and at the highest level, right? Level is important too. It's hard for me to pick against Trent Mosley, man. That guy was electric. And what's also odd to me, Fryer, didn't you think it was so odd there'd be plays against De La Salle? They'd have like one guy on them.
We talked about that at the game. I turned around and go, what are you doing? You know?
I mean, try and do anything.
You can't one-on-one that dude. And I think my partner, Dan Albano, said, because he covered the Bosco Santa Maria game, he said they sort of bracketed Mosley with two dudes.
Have to.
And he said, and Dan kept waiting for that to happen. It didn't happen. But the De La Salle guys, they know what they're doing. You know, you're not playing in the middle of December because you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
Maybe they thought, okay, he's going to get his stuff. We're going to stop everybody else. And maybe if they were to do it again, they wouldn't, we're basketball guys, hey, Joey's going to get his 25. Let's stop this guy from getting his 12. This guy stop getting his.
It is different in hoops because you're basically challenging one player to have 50 or 60 points. And that is but in football, man, all it takes is 3 big plays and that's 21 points. So it doesn't, I get what you're saying, but that was not sound strategy. We were shocked at how much space he had, and he had a couple big time runs. But...
Is that the man, Michael Victor? Look at that guy.
Yeah. So
he's got the shades on too. These guys are cool for school around here.
He's on deck. So guys, I think we'll start to wrap it up, and then we got to get Mike Vick on, and then we'll wrap the show up. But we really appreciate you guys coming on, chopping it up. Aram, anything last add for you before we bring on Mike?
No, just another great season, guys, and
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I think it was a hell of a season in the Southern section on a lot of fronts. Like I originally asked Steve and Freddie about, the crackdown on the transfers, that whole show, basically a storyline that went all throughout the season up into the playoffs when people were withholding until they could land on a team late in the season and submit information that would lead to forfeits and stuff like that. And then, of course, the way they structured the divisions, I think it really led to an interesting season and one that played out that in a way that not many people foresaw. Nobody really foresaw Santa Margarita over Corona Centennial in the championship game, and it was a blast. So great stuff, great coverage as usual, Freddie and Steve, and yeah.
Get that all area done, Steve. I'm knocking mine out.
Yeah, rolling it.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Tarek. Hey, guys,
thanks for coming on, guys. Good night, Merry Christmas.
Sure. All right.
Happy New Year to the
Later,
boys.
Mike. Big Mike, be like Mike.
All right, we're gonna go to the two feed here real quick because this is the best way to end this show right here. There's no question about that because the stories that are gonna fly out of this man's mouth, I already know. I'm asking him. I already know what I'm asking him about. It has nothing to do with high school football. It's football. It's football related. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, hold on. I gotta cue it up. I'm a one-man show here. Stand by. Here he is. Let's see. I think it's this one.
You have an intro for Mike, Tarek?
No, but I just want to make sure that he's on the screen correctly. Here we go. And I think we should be able. We haven't heard him, so let's hope that his mic works. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
It sounds like Good Daddy Kane, then you know it's Mike.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's on. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Victor, welcome to the Fattal Factor. If we can get some W's in the chat, that's what I want to see for Mike Victor. W's in the chat. Mike,
Appreciate
thanks for joining us, man. Having a little fun with us tonight on a Monday night. Man, the high school football season is over. I think we could take a big sigh of relief. I know you're a basketball guy, so maybe you're a little excited to kind of dive into hoops. Maybe. If not, that's okay too. But, man, I think just your initial thoughts on what Santa Margarita was able to accomplish this year.
Wow. You know what? Steve Fafita is impressive. Not to take anything away from that offense, because Trent Mosley is absolutely positively electric. But Steve Fafita is coach. He's been coaching those kids since they were 12 and 13 years old, and so you could kind of see the chemistry that they had between coach and player and whatnot. And he's held those kids accountable, so they knew what to expect from the time they stepped in there. So defensively, I'm not surprised. The way the offensive outbursts the last few games of the season were really surprising. Uh, but we have to factor in that they had a healthy Trent Mosley. So a healthy Trent Mosley is good for 21 points, as we can see.
Their quarterback really came on, and Fryer alluded to that. Trace Johnson did not look great early, but to your point, Trent Mosley is so good. Is it fair to just say it made the game easier for that quarterback? Period.
1,000%. Because if you look at it, he threw a lot. He threw a lot of screens, which were extended run, which were just basically outside runs, and Trent did the rest. I mean, I watched Trent drop his shoulder on that De La Salle guy on that one
in
screen
the
where he
end zone.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa. You know, those are things. I mean, so he definitely elevated his game as the season went on. And I mean, and in all honesty, hell, Santa Margarita was playing without their best corner because Jaden Crowder was out that game.
That's true. Yeah,
So he was out the last 2 games.
Correct. That's exactly right. He was out. He played up until he got hurt in the semifinal. He did not play in that Southern Section final. And that was a big impact. You know, and what's crazy is they didn't seem like they didn't miss a beat.
No, but once again, you know, credits to Steve Fafita and the way he coaches, and if you watch, I've watched the OC Buckeyes for the last 4 years, and they as a program, they're next man up. Somebody goes down, they're next man up, and if you get beat out, it's a dogfight over there. So they do a great job just organizing. So Steve, to be honest with you, I think we're going to see a true balance, a true shift in power too. Which we kind of talked about before, because now they're gonna start, you know, whoever gets fed the most kids, they're gonna be the ones that win, and I think that kids that wanted to leave Santa Margarita in years past are not gonna want to leave. They're not gonna have a mass exodus or exodus of any sort. As a matter of fact, I think more guys will be coming in.
Yeah, I also think there's an element of that's good for the other Trinity League schools too. I really do. I think if you're Orange Lutheran and you're J. Sarah and Servite, I do think that there's going to be a disbursement of talent at that level, like at 8th graders, right, coming into freshmen, or maybe just transfers that are looking to find landing spots. Obviously, Santa Margarita is winning, so that's going to attract by default. But I do think it's going to level the playing field a little bit because, in my opinion, like Mater Dei and Bosco, not that they're still not attractive, they're just not simply the only places to land anymore.
Right, and the other thing, just that you brought up Orange Lutheran, I heard a little. This is from a little birdie. Their DC is probably, my understanding is that he's going to become the defensive coordinator at Southern University with Marshall Falk, Todd Light.
Okay.
The deal is, let me read the text. How about I read the text? You want me to send you the text, Tarek?
No, go for it. Read it out.
Todd Light is going to Southern with Marshall Falk. I got the text yesterday. He said, "We just want to let you know we went a different route with the DC." I said, out of curiosity, was it? He said, Kewan Wilkes and Todd Light. So Todd Light, don't. The deal is not. The paperwork is not all the way done yet, but Todd Light is probably is going to be a DC or co-DC with his former Rams teammate Marshall Falk.
Aram?
Where is this again?
Olu.
Olu.
Are you shitting me?
No, not at all.
Wow.
Well, you can see that there goes the text right there.
No, we believe.
No, bro. I believe you. What I'm saying is, like, you're going to add those names to Olu. You're going to add a potential big name and whoever he brings with him to Jay Sarah. And
I'm talking about Marshall Falk at Southern University.
oh, okay.
The Olu guy is leaving to go to college.
Oh, all
To
right.
go to college.
All right, man. That's what I get
Mike,
for.
what was happening right there is Aaron was texting a little. He was texting "oh girl" and
No. Mike, what I was texting is you. So go ahead and look at the text that I sent you.
Okay.
And then I'm also socialing out our guests as they come in.
1,000%.
Okay.
I was gonna talk about that. But if you want to, you can shoot it, and I'll shoot it right back at you.
Okay. All right. Let's get into it. Because okay, first off, I see there's 60 people right now in the chat or watching live. That means we should have 60 likes. So everybody, please like. And it's free. So give us a like here. We need those. All we can get. Okay. Let's talk about this. The Sharon Moore situation.
Yep, that's what I was talking about. I love it. Keep going.
Yeah. So I'm gonna set it up for everybody. I'm working at Fox. This is the ticker that we have there. I'm working at Fox, and all of a sudden across the Twitter feed comes breaking news. I forget who was reporting it. Sharon Moore fired by Michigan. Okay. So we got to get up a breaking news alert. We get up our breaking news alert on the ticker, which is I think the first platform on all the Fox platforms that have that breaking news up. So now I'm texting Mike about this thing, and now comes another layer on top of the story. And as I'm texting Mike, first of all, he reminds me that he told me about this a week or two earlier. And Tarek, you will appreciate this, just like you always say I do with you. He said something, and I clearly wasn't listening. We were talking. Oh, it was actually a day earlier. We were talking about Notre Dame a few days earlier, talking about Notre Dame opting out of their bowl game. And somehow Sharon had been on video when he was doing the Citrus Bowl press conference, talking about how we're football players here. We want to play. We want, the next game. So I'm like, Mike, he's a real one. And then Mike says something to the effect of, man, Sharon's going to be out of there like in a week or two, that type stuff, or this has been coming for a week or two. And then when it happens, he reminds me that he said that. I remember him saying that something like that was going to happen. I just didn't remember it being Sharon specifically. What I'm getting at here is nobody. Then Mike starts telling me what's next is going to happen in the story and like what went down. Okay. Which is exactly what happened. I tell my guys at work like the same stuff, and everyone's like, damn, it went down exactly how your guy said it's going to, how it went down, like what was coming. So Money Making Mike, once again, proves to be like the most in tune person out there. Tarek, if you can find better, like guy that talks to everybody and knows about everything before it happens, it's almost like God checks with him. Money Making Mike, how many people do you talk to in a day? And like, I know you do a loop around Southern California in your G ride every day. I know that, right? We all know that. Mike's always in the car. He's driving around. Like he literally goes to all counties in SoCal every day. But how many people do you talk to every day, man?
Well, my wife is watching, so I'll dummy it down, but about 25. But here's the deal, and this is, I tend to be a receptacle for information receptacle, so I get all kinds of shit that comes across my desk. But in this particular situation, I've known about this Sharon Moore thing since September. I mean, he was he had a staffer fly a girl to the Outback Bowl, put her in an adjacent hotel while he was there. He was doing stuff inside the building. So it was, 2 girls pregnant, Plan Bs delivered to DoorDash drivers delivering Plan Bs to the office, just all kinds of just super weird stuff. And, my biggest thing is, I don't know if there was anybody that could control them, because it seems like they would have had an intervention, because this was coming. I think there's a level of malpractice that was done by the AD, which this is just my opinion, because this was the loudest secret ever known to man in that building. Everybody knew what was going on, and they knew it had been going on. It's just that when it got to the point where the donors were seeing it and and it was starting to affect the Michigan brand. I think that's when everything the poop kind of hit the fan, because one of the girls' father is with the Chicago Bears organization, so it got to be pretty bad. I mean, Sharon is I don't know, no disrespect to him, but I think whoever was on his team and they saw this coming, they could have actually saved him. He's dead. He's dead in football now. He's dead as a door now.
Yeah.
And like I was telling you, Tarek, why not get in front of this? Hey, put the family up on the screen and say, hey, listen, I have a sex addiction. I'm checking out of football, and I'm going to check into a rehab. Addiction is the key word. You become a sympathetic figure instead of going and pulling a semi heist and invade the girl's house.
That's what's so interesting is, man, I think as sad as it is, or whatever word you want to use for lack of a better term, he's an idiot. He could have come back from that, like as nefarious and messy and just not good in so many different ways as it was. I think there's a way you can actually come back from that kind of just basically immorality. He didn't do anything illegal, but man, in the same day, he lost his family, he lost his job, and this dude lost his freedom. Because he went and did something way, Aram's like, yeah, right? Isn't that crazy to think about in one day?
Yes.
And so, man, he went and made decisions that I don't think he can come back from, man. You went and you threatened your own life. It sounds like he allegedly threatened the young lady's life. And so it's like...
And he showed a high level of narcissism in that regard, because you know what? He did it.
Yes. It sounds like not a lot of... dude, I just think, and Aram and I were kind of in jest that day, kind of going back via group chat with actually and I won't go into super detail, but just kind of like I was just kind of saying, like, hey man, like, so you do something like that, man, you have to take full responsibility and understand that whatever comes next is probably a bed you laid in, and so you're gonna have to lay in it as hard as it's gonna be. And by not accepting that responsibility, that's what I think spirals you into doing something that you cannot take back. It's almost like if he would have just like, wow, I really messed up here. This was to your point. I think it might have been better.
I screwed the pooch, and if I represented a guy like that, I would tell him in the heart. I'd be like, hey, listen, man, don't do nothing. Just wait. I'm gonna get your wife, and we're gonna sit down and we're gonna tell her. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna call a press conference, and we're gonna get in front of this. And you have an addiction to sex, and we're gonna send you to Malibu to rehab, and this is where you're gonna do 30 days inpatient, and then you're going to become a sympathetic figure versus now he's a villain. Now he's a narcissistic villain. So a lot of people saw it coming. I mean, the most interesting thing is like how this coaching search is going to come out there. I mean,
You want to tell us, Mike?
if I'm a gambling man, if I'm a gambling man, I think it's either Dillingham or DeBoer.
Even though DeBoer said not interested, what else is he going to say?
I mean, what else is he supposed to say? Yeah, he has to quell the people. I mean, so it's one of the two. I don't think you can go wrong with either guy. Kenny Dillingham is, I mean, I have firsthand experience in dealing with him in terms of recruiting. He's one of the best guys he's one of the best guys in the country, hands down.
So I know he's a super popular coach, and he had that great run last year. Half the team has left, Mike. I know of that half, maybe, a 25% it went into the NFL draft. Okay, fine. But the other guys, they just had 2-3 more guys today hit the portal. I get it. I know he's a popular coach. Why, if he's so popular?
It's college football. It's college football. These kids now.
But no one's lost guys at this
like I always say, these kids will jump over dollars to pick up pennies.
Yeah, but again, no program, I don't think, has as many guys in the portal as ASU.
Well, we won't know that. We won't know that until January 3rd.
But I don't get it. Again, if this is not like a top 10, top 20 talent program, I don't think. What I'm saying is they're not Florida or Auburn, and yet they have all these guys that are in there that I don't think are going to be huge portal targets. Why, if this guy is so popular, are all these guys jumping ship? And I agree, he's popular. I don't understand why we're all jetting out like this.
That's a great question. I mean, when if you'd have told me that they'd have this many kids jettisoning right now, I would 2 months ago, I wouldn't have believed it just from having been in that building and watching what they're doing. But I think that some of those kids that are leaving, I think they, it's probably in their best interest to leave, maybe to go down, maybe to get a little more money, go to the league, whatever it may be. But I mean, the one critical thing with Kenny Dillingham is with LSU and Penn State, he killed those rumors immediately. We haven't heard him kill the Michigan rumor yet, have we?
Yeah, he said it 2 days ago, like before one of their bull practices. Like he's very happy at ASU, and
Yeah,
this is where it's kind of like the same DeBoer type statement.
Yeah, but he hasn't. I know definitively he has a contract proposal on his desk that he hasn't signed.
Yeah, right.
I know that definitively.
Mike, do you think if Jerome Moore would have beaten Ohio State and at 10-2 Michigan gets in the playoff, which they would have done, do you think this happens?
That's a damn good question, Aaron.
Because there's a lot of people saying this wouldn't have happened. They'd have covered it up. They'd have made it go away.
I think
they were out on him.
I think they would have kept the wig on the pig for a little bit longer, but I don't.
Yeah, I think it would have kicked the can down the road. It would have just prolonged it. Yeah.
Yeah, but they probably would have went with the Wink Martindale situation, where he becomes the interim head coach, the DC that's there, and that's kind of how they roll with it. That would be my
general. My coach is Biff Poggi, Mike. This is funny.
Okay. Oh, that's right, the sleeveless dude.
Yeah, Biff Poggi. He looks. Yeah, you got to see this guy, and you will for the bowl game. He's the interim coach.
He's the St. Francis guy. He's the one who built the St. Francis program in Maryland.
Okay, fine. And then
he was the head coach at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte.
Yes, right. And he was on staff for the Harbaugh National Championship, then gets the Charlotte job, and he lasts like a season and 2-3 months at Charlotte before they can him. And then he goes back to Michigan. Well, what came out recently is that Biff Poggi, Mike, people are saying, was the guy that kind of held the staff together under Harbaugh. The players had like some sort of issue with Harbaugh, not one particular thing, but he was the guy that sort of kept the guys that were not responding well to Harbaugh, and the coaches as well that were not responding well to Harbaugh and
the entire staff.
He was the guy that was like the go-between that kept things smooth and everyone happy. Well, so that's why he stays in this position.
Well, I'll tell you something else funny. They actually had a psychologist on staff for anybody who had a problem. They had somebody that would give them coping mechanisms to deal with Harbaugh.
See? This is what people don't know, and this is why you have Money Making Mike here telling you.
So he had that. I mean, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna go when we go offline, Tarek. I got some more stuff because we're not done seeing it, like any major movement. We're not done just.
You're talking high school or college?
College. We're not done yet.
Of course we're not, man. Oh man, this is.
I don't want to like. I did want to ask Mike, and again, I hope this doesn't take the air out of the balloon because it's probably not a super. But I did want to like, what's your take on the Bob Chesney hire?
That's very very interesting. They hired their GM hire was really good. Derek, you're right. He's from out here. He's an Oregon State, Fresno State, originally from Stockton guy. So he understands the West Coast landscape. The Chesney hire is curious. I mean, he's an East Coast guy. If he's aggressive, he's going to have to be aggressive. They're going to have to be aggressive. You're still going to have to get kids into school. You're still going to have to get the bodies, because the Big Ten is a game of body blows. Body blow, body blow, body blow, body blow. And whoever can take the most body blows and land one haymaker, two haymakers they're the ones that are going to win the games. So I don't know. I mean, I'm super curious to see what he does. I don't know if I'm fired up on the hire.
I'll tell you what, and my take on it, and it's very vanilla. I'm very like I'm not some like football savant by any means, but something about the hire there's a threading of the needle that I think UCLA is doing with this hire, and I gotta be honest, I think I like it. Because there's something about UCLA football where you can get a splashy guy, but the splashy guy's not really gonna win there. Or you can get a grinded out guy. To me, God, to me, the UCLA football job is really like a mid-major job. Because
that's
even
good
though they're
call.
in the Big Ten, so I don't know if you're driving with me on that, but
Yeah.
something about getting a guy in that's kind of in a big college football world, kind of still unproven per se. Like this is a guy that's a little bit older, not older like for the earth, but he's not a
Right.
young. It's not like they brought up. It's like that's not like they gave Neuheisel the job or like Deshaun Foster, for example. Who knows his football or what have you, but clearly a little over his head. This is a guy that's been a head coach before, but has done it at a different level. So there's an element of it for me. I kind of get this young, spirited, nose to the grindstone, grind it out, still working his way up, mid-major feel to this. And I think it's a good fit. What do you think about that take?
I like that take. I can live with that. I can actually live with that because he's gonna he's gonna come with the blue collar mindset. And
Yes.
he's gonna dog it out. And you know, and if he's that's what I do get from him. If he's wrestling Godzilla, he's gonna bet on himself.
Yeah, I like that. And there's an element like I this is kind of just something that I know that I correlate it to. It's like these mid-major basketball, like the Big West jobs, a lot of them, or even just all those mid-major basketball programs, they kind of go and hire kind of younger guys or like D2 guys, and it just takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of grinding. There's long hours, long weekends. You're recruiting your ass off. Your assistants are getting paid nothing. That kind of energy, but we all know that those hires are, those guys are trying to get like to whatever is next.
Right.
And I kind of get that energy from this guy, that I feel like I don't know. Something about the hire makes me feel like it's a good hire. I actually am rooting for him.
I'm kind of one of the things that I was curious about is I was wondering why Penn State didn't pull the trigger on him.
Okay. So you felt like he was okay. So if he's Penn State quality, in my opinion, then this is a good hire for UCLA.
Yeah, I think like I said, he's doing all the right things. I think bringing Derek Ray in was a good move. I think what your take on it is solid. It's a solid take. I mean, UCLA, in my opinion, is kind of similar to my opinion is kind of similar to yours. It's not a destination job.
Correct. Correct.
It's not a destination job. So you do have to have somebody that wants to come in there and thug it out and knuckle up and squabble his way up, because it's just unfortunately, it's a tale of two cities, right? You look across the street, across the walkway at Pauley Pavilion, and Mick Cronin can stay there for 30 years.
Yeah.
And it'll be the same great job it's always been. Whereas football is like, you have a 4-year shelf life before you move on to the next thing. If you're over there winning.
But it used to be a destination job, Mike, when you go back to the Terry Donahue era, when he was the highest paid state employee. And, he had a guy like Bob Field as his defensive coordinator for however long. I mean, he was there a ton of time with him, 20 something years, I think. And now it's not. It's not that dynamic's not there anymore. But and Donahue was there a long time and was the most successful coach in school history.
Football in California is also becoming kind of borderless as well, because the way the conferences are set up now, the Big Ten is a nationwide conference. The ACC is a nationwide conference. The SEC is still regional, but the other two big conferences, hell, the Big 12 is a nationwide conference now. So you're dealing with borderless football now, and so it's harder for it to be just that. And now you're talking about money, and that of which UCLA in the past traditionally hasn't had much. So it'll be interesting to see what they've done with their NIL components and whatnot. So those are all interesting pieces. I would, if I were, up until Deshaun got fired, that was our favorite school. I told you that, Aaron.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, Mike he's had two sons already play major college football, and he's got a third who will be is a junior currently at Tustin, and he's a Notre Dame commit. And so he'll have a third son coming up here after next season. That'll be class of 27. So
here's the other thing. Hey, Tarek, Aram tried to get me to turn on Marcus Freeman the other night too.
Yeah, that sounds like Aram. That sounds like Aram.
He's like, here's the deal, Aram. I think when you're at the University of Notre Dame, you have the leverage to do exactly what Marcus did and what the program did and what the kids chose to do. I think it was playoff malpractice to put James Madison and Tulane in front of Notre Dame. Complete malpractice.
I agree. I totally agree. But the thing is also, when you are Notre Dame, you don't do what they did, and also the kids don't run the room.
No,
the adults do. And you can say to the kids, "I know you're emotional right now. We didn't get picked, but let's think about this a day or two, and then come back and decide if we want to play at BYU."
If you're anybody other than Notre Dame, you can't do that. I think that when you talk about a brand like that, like I've got like 4 or 5 texts where people were saying that their schools are going to opt not to play Notre Dame. Good luck. That's like saying, okay, we're going to kick the Dallas Cowboys out the NFC East.
Right. Yeah.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you something, and this is just from my personal experience with that staff at Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman is a stand-up dude, and I'm not being a homer.
I agree.
No, he's probably one. I've sat in a lot of offices. I've never sat in an office with a dude that operates like that. So, obviously next year, as long as they're in the top 12, they'll be in the playoff no matter what.
Yeah, it's already the lawyers took care of that.
Yeah, but I think it was very irresponsible of the CFP to put James Madison and Tulane in front of Notre Dame.
That was caused in, and yeah, it's horrible. It's ridiculous. Neither one of those teams should be in, let alone one of them. But that's another story for another day. And Mike, I hope you keep that same energy when Marcus is the head coach of the Giants and he's working with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatteroo in a couple of seasons. You know that's coming, buddy.
That's not coming at all. You want to see that text too?
No. Hey, Mike, and I know we're having fun. I don't want to get too late into the night, man. This whole idea was we had Fryer on, we had Robledo on, we had the 4-screen going. We had some fun tonight, man, and we're so glad that you joined us. So, I don't know. We'll start to kind of wrap up a little here because again, and I hate to make it about me, but I got a 2-year-old and a 6-week-old, man. So it is not easy to get sleep around here.
I've done that 8 times.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man. It is. I had a Saturday night, right? Saddleback College, Open Division State game. Kind of like, thank God it was a blowout because the game started rolling pretty quick. But man, that game didn't get over till like close to 11. I didn't get home till like 1:30, and then I just was thinking to myself, like, there's no sleeping in. My
You're insane for doing that, Tarek. That triple header.
Yeah, it's just
insane,
after
bro.
a long day, But you know what?
It was $20 for Spectrum and done it from home, and
no, I wanted to be there, and I'm glad I went because it's the last day. And look, you're a prep guy, you kind of know. It's like there's a lull right now that I know I'll be able to rest and recharge. Like end of football, a lot of finals coming up, kids getting out of school. There's really not any heavy hitter basketball games between now and Christmas.
Weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, you gonna be there, Mike?
Hell yeah, Damien in 2 weeks, baby.
Young Gabriel wanted your basketball takes, by the way.
I'll be able to recharge here between now and Christmas. It's the 26th and onwards where it ramps right back up with the hoops, and it starts at the Classic at Damien, like Mike said. So
I can't wait to see Centennial. That kid that put up 51 trains at the same facility as
Isaiah Rogers. Yeah, they're I got them like in the top 10 right now, man. They've kind of creeped up. They got a bunch of like sophomores and juniors, and then they have the one standout senior, and then Giles just knows what he's doing, the head coach. So
yeah, he does. And then what about? I'm curious to see what Adewanda looks like too.
Yeah, they again, Kleckner defense, that's gonna be a thing, but they haven't quite played anyone Open Division-esque yet. They just haven't. It doesn't mean they're not quality and they're not good. The team right now that I'm very impressed with and that will be in the open division and might make some noise, they play Sierra Canyon on Saturday, and that's Crean Lutheran.
Yeah, they look real. I've been watching. They look really good.
They got like two big, like real college level big guys. They got a really kind of like a smaller version of like a Tyler Hero. His name's Hunter Kaplan. He just
I like him too.
unconscious confidence, man. He'll could miss 6 in a row, doesn't matter. And everything, he's one of these, and I know you'll know what I mean. It's like every time he shoots it, like the whole gym thinks it's going in. That's how confidently and fluent he shoots it.
Yeah, he does. He hasn't met a shot that he doesn't like.
No, man, and it's not obnoxious. Like, dude, stop shooting the ball. No. It's like it looks good every time, and then they've got this transfer who makes the whole thing go, man. He's like a 6'5" point guard from Oaks Christian. His name is Nick Giarusso, and he is like the connector to all of it, man. So
I've got to watch him play.
that team is solid, and I hope they don't. I hope the only thing I worry about a team like that's not necessarily new to the scene, but new to that level, is you got to be able to sustain it, and I just hope they don't like burn out, and so that's what's possible sometimes when these really good teams kind of pop up and now they're good.
But those bigs do a great job of finishing at the rim. They do a great job of protecting the rim. That's a good damn team.
I got them number 4 right now, but behind Sierra Canyon. The top, Sierra Canyon, Santa Margarita, they each have one loss, and it's to out of state teams. It's like they've lost to Bishop McNamara on the East Coast, both of them. And then Bosco's, I think, 7-0 or 8-0, and they got the Christian Collins. But again, their schedule hasn't been that great. They did beat Harvard Westlake though, although Harvard Westlake's and Merbibo won't like this if he hears it. But they're a little down. And if I had to say, well, use a different word than down. Okay, they're just a little unproven. They got some young guys that need to kind of like come along because they're really, really good still because it's David Rebibo coaching and it's Harvard Westlake. But I think when they get into the Mission League and they got to play the Notre Dames and the Sierra Canyons and they get into the Open and they got to play the Boscos and the Creans and the Santa Margaritas.
Notre Dame is still solid without their
Oh
big
yeah,
guy.
and they're waiting for a guy you like. His name is Josiah Nance, JoJo Nance, and he's hurt, but when he comes back. But yeah, man, you got to go watch this kid. It's a football guy. His son, Navarro Bowman.
Navarro.
Penn State. There's Penn State.
Navarro, his boy plays basketball.
Dude, Navarro Bowman Jr. is one of the best combo guards on the West Coast, and he's a 2027 smooth, good ball handler, plays smart, athletic, can shoot it. Here's the problem with Tyron Stokes leaving: he has to try and score more, and though he can do it, I don't think it's necessarily like what he does. He's really a college level ball handling kind of combo guard, really even more point guard in my opinion. Very smart, very strong. Probably needs to give a little effort better on defense, but I just think right now he's left with the responsibility to score so much. Mike, I think he's averaging like 28 points a game.
Damn.
Man, he's really, really good, but it's not really going to work at the high level. So they got the Zach White kid, San Diego State. They got this Josiah Nance kid, who's a good player. So they have some nice players. They're still very good. But with Stokes out, now Bowman has to kind of do
Stokes
more.
Is at O'Day. He's at O'Day, right?
No. Stokes went to Rainier Beach.
Rainier Beach. There we go. I saw him. He's talented, man.
Oh, yeah, no. He's like going to be in the NBA here soon. Yeah, he's
talented.
Lottery pick. But his big thing, and I don't know if you know what happened at Notre Dame, but he was basically getting into he's just was getting into issues with kids on campus and just not good, man. So they had to kind of shoo him along, and so he ended up at Rainier Beach. But yeah, super talented kid, and will if he can get his temper, because I think at the college level he's really a 6-month rental, so they're really just gonna take whatever he comes with. But at the pro level, that kind of stuff's gonna impact his draft stock.
Yeah, Arkansas, or Arizona are probably good places for him.
I tell you right now, his top 4 is like he just added a fourth. There was 3, and then he added Vanderbilt now to one of his top choices, which is kind of random. But hey,
Vanderbilt's 10-0, Tarek, aren't they?
oops. I
They're
don't
off
know.
to their best
But
start
it's still
history, I
still
think.
Vanderbilt. That's a curious. Who were his top 3? I know Arizona was in there.
No, it's Oregon, or I think Oregon, Kentucky, and Kansas.
Okay, that's still not bad. But
No,
I
I mean he's got everybody.
I would think that Arkansas would be a place for him to go play with Cal.
I tell you what though, I'm sure you like. I tell you what, man. If I was like, I'm not mad. I don't know much about the basketball program at Vandy, but I know it's.
They're top 20 right
I mean,
now.
that's cool. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
new though. They've been like doormat of
Yes.
the league for years.
Yep. Yeah.
So my point is like, man, but what a great place to go to college. Mike,
Yeah.
are you with me on that or no? You don't.
Yeah,
buy
no, it's a great place to go to college.
I mean, dude.
I think if you can go to Vanderbilt, Rice, Stanford, Northwestern, Duke, those are great places to go to school.
And why you say that? Because they're the great combo of like athletics and academics. Is that kind of what you're getting at there?
1,000%. 1,000%.
Tarek was more talking about like Music City and environment.
No.
Weren't you, Tarek? Like that?
No,
like
not the music, but just Nashville and Broadway and just the
okay.
Music City.
Okay, I see. Okay, I thought you meant like the music in particular.
Little known factoid. You remember? Are you old enough to remember Ron Mercer?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got one Ron Mercer story. Go ahead.
But Ron Mercer wanted to go to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, he couldn't get in. They wouldn't let him into school. No special admit, no nothing. He ends up going to Kentucky and becoming a lottery pick.
Yeah, the one story I have on Ron Mercer is how it's really a Gary McKnight story. I think it was his first year at Mater Dei, maybe second. And he said they were in Vegas, and tell me if this tracks. And he said like, man, we went out to this tournament, and this kid just lit us up for like 40, 50. And he just looked at me, he goes, it was Ron Mercer. And I just thought that as simple as it was, what a name you probably haven't heard in forever. And what a cool story that Mater Dei was, at this tournament, and Ron Mercer lit him up.
Because I believe Ron and Shea Cotton and Ron Mercer might have been the same class.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, and you might know better than I, because this is not my time. But I think Ron is older.
He might be by a year. Because you know what?
I want to say McKnight started. I want to say like in 89, 90, maybe 91. So does that make? Because I think Shea came in.
I think McKnight was I think he was before that, because they had Rembert.
Oh, maybe so. Maybe it was more like 79, 80 or 81.
Yeah, no, because Ron Mercer was graduated in 95.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because McKnight he coached the. Well, he want to say that he had to coach Tommy Lewis.
No, he did. He did coach Tommy Lewis.
He coached, so Tommy Lewis is graduating. He came in. He took over 82, 83. Tommy Lewis.
So I thought it was early 90s. It sounds like so it was more like early 80s. So yeah,
so 95. That would have been Shea Cotton and those guys.
Okay, so maybe I was it definitely wasn't his first year then, but
I'll tell you a funny Shea Cotton story. When I was at Long Beach State, his brother James signed with Long Beach State and came to Long Beach State, and I hosted him on his recruiting visit, and I was like, hey man, I like James, and I like his mom, and I like Big James Senior and everybody. They're all cool. And Coach Greenberg said, good, because he's here to replace you.
That's fantastic.
But,
Aaron, you got anything else, man, before we wrap this up and let this guy go, man? Mike, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Just real quick, my last thing for Mike doesn't require much of a statement or whatever. Maybe just some soothing words for your boy Aram, man. I had mentioned this before previously on our show, that college football just ruining me emotionally and mentally. And last week we had another layer added on top of that. We've gone from like the Lane Kiffin thing to the playoff thing not being handled very well on any level to Notre Dame opting out. And then along comes Sharon Moore's situation, which for me was just like I was already beat up. And yes, this is all about me. I was already beat up. And then here comes, a guy losing his marriage, his livelihood. And like I said, all in one day, how fast it can crumble for any man out there, any of us three, anyone out there, it can just crumble very, very fast. And he goes from being the Michigan head coach in the morning to being in a jail cell that night. And his life is just wrecked because of it. I don't know, Mike. College football is tearing me apart, and we still have the playoff to come, and all the emotions and the up and downs is going to come with that. And then we still have the portal and some more offseason coaching moves. Your thoughts on what NFL isn't like this, high school isn't like this, no other sport is like this emotional just train wreck that it sends you through. Your thoughts on like the state of college football and how it's just you can't quit it, but it just ruins you. It just shreds your insides.
Yeah, it's an abusive girlfriend for sure. but you know what? I think it's gonna. I think once we put the wheels back on this thing, I think it's gonna get better. I think right now we're still kind of in that middle area, that abyss where they're still trying to figure everything out from NIL to rev share to everything. So they're doing everything by the seat of their pants. I think once things start getting into place, I think we'll see it get better. I think the biggest problem, man, on the money side of it is that you got all these fucking parents that are especially in other regions where they're the college football is now their payout. That's how they're gonna that's how they feed their families. Some of these kids they're taking care of entire families.
Mm-hmm.
With this rev share and NIL money, and unfortunately, it's not generational money. It's truly a band-aid. And the one thing that they're gonna I call it life sticker shock, right? You go from making $20,000-$30,000 a month in college to now you graduate. There's no NFL, there's no this, there's no that, and you got to go to the enterprise management training program, and you're getting $4,012 a month. Well, hell, that'll drive a kid insane. He'll look at it like, how am I supposed to live off of this?
Mm-hmm.
When that's normal. So I just think I just when this thing becomes more regulated, I'll be significantly happier about it because football will become fun. I mean, it'll become a bit more. It's still fun to me. It's way better than the NFL. I hate the NFL.
Yeah.
You still have a bunch of kids playing hard, but I mean, just gotta stay away from those teasers there.
Yeah. Man, ain't that the truth? All right, yeah, that's all I had, Money Making Mike. Thanks for joining us tonight, Tarek.
And Aaron, Tarek, Merry Christmas, man, and congratulations on the little ones, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
You're making it look good. You're making it look easy.
Appreciate it, man. That is, and Aram will know, that is all my
Good
wife.
for Mike. That's a huge compliment.
That is all my wife. My wife woke up this morning at 5 a.m. with the newborn and took him to the gym, and she'll if he's up, she'll strap him like to her, and she'll walk the treadmill, right, for a million years. Or if she's asleep, she'll just keep him in the stroller and do like a workout, like a weight workout. And so anyway, so.
Well, she's a doll.
No, that's my wife is wired like that. It puts me to shame, man. She's like, set her alarm, discipline, up, get to the gym like 3 or 4 times a week. So Alden's 2 months old now. He's 8 weeks old. So She's been trying to walk, and now she wants to throw some weight around. My wife ran track in college. And so she's just used to like all that, all that powerlifting. Now, I'm not saying she's clinging every 2-3 times a week and stuff, but she wants to throw weight around. That's her natural.
She's a machine, Tarek, but so are you, man. I mean, when you look at it,
in a different way, yes.
You're writing for this place, you're writing for that place. You're doing Sports Central on Sunday when you would think you would be off. You're doing this show on Monday night. I mean, you're doing a lot of things yourself, man.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate
that.
And and by the way,
you're still young, man.
And by the way, you've gotten progressively better every year.
Yeah, thank you,
You
man.
know,
Thank
you
you. Yeah,
like,
I appreciate that, man.
you
Thank you.
like
Yeah,
for-
just and I think and for those that are still on, appreciate you guys all watching, and we'll kind of close up shop here. But
Those glasses, man.
the last ad, these are my blue light glasses.
Damn.
The last ad I'll share is, man, I think the like the secret sauce to all of it, why it's been so fun, and I say it at the end of every show, is that I take the job seriously, but I don't take myself too seriously. You gotta be. I just, man, it's like why I appreciate guys like Fred and Fryer. They're just, it's like they're human first, man. They're just, it's like, then the job comes, and that is just so important, you know. And so Fryer told me when I was just starting, this is 10 years ago now, he just, yeah, you know, hey Steve, didn't you want to go on and do like college and pro? He goes, yeah, I dabbled and I covered like the Ducks and stuff, but he goes, man, high school beat, it allows you to be around your family, and you've never met anyone in your life that said, man, I wish I didn't spend more time with my kids. No one says that.
Yeah.
So I love the beat, man. I love this high school community. It's clearly got taken a liking to me and kind of reciprocated. So it's all been fun, man, but I try to keep it light and engaging, and that's what's been making it look easy. And I think sometimes it is, because these coaches, when I call them, I think they just think, all right, when I pick up the phone, if Tarek's going to call me and I pick up the phone, I'm not going to get spoken to in a certain way. I'm not going to get pressed a certain way. This guy's going to talk
All up in the videos.
all up in the video. Yeah, he's just going to talk to me like a regular human being. You know, it's like, it's not that hard. So anyway, man, I appreciate it.
I think the bigger thing, and you know, I'll always call you on stuff, but the bigger thing is that you're trustworthy, and that's worth $1 million. That's worth $1 million.
Yeah. And look, it's like just it's having fun at the same time. I've told people the second this isn't fun for me anymore, I'll go do something else. Yeah, I'll just go do something else. Mike, appreciate you joining, man. Such a pleasure, and always love the stories. We got plenty of football to talk down the road, so man, I hope you'll come on again, and if not, I'm sure there'll be an emergency spaces coming up here in January, February, spring. There's going to be a brawl at a 7-on, and Aram's going to fire it up, and we're going to talk about
the asylum. Yeah.
All right, Mike, we're going to let you go, man. Aram, it's just going to be you and me here for a second. All right, Mike.
Thank Mike.
Aram,
sir.
Any final words, man? The last show of 2025.
Final or just like the first, man. It's been a great run so far. It's not stopping. And you know, this was a great night to have our holiday party and have, you know, Fryer, Freddie, Money Making Mike on. Really great stuff, Tarek, and it's been a blast for me so far, and I'm excited to see what happens next.
Thank you very much. Aram, it's been a pleasure, man. I want to thank you for being such a great host, showing up every Monday, having fun with it, and that's been the ethos of it. You said it at like the top of the show. Like, this was just a project, basically, and a vision, and it's like, at the end of the day, if all we're going to do is just have some fun, then that's the goal, and we'll let whatever transpires from that little just pumpkin seed or mustard seed, which is very small, we'll let whatever grows from that, it'll just be what it is. And it's turned into some really, really fun content, some great journalism, if we're being honest. And man, I think we've built a platform that's, to Mike's point, created a little bit of trust, man. Coaches don't mind coming on and talking about like hard things. That's not easy to do, man. So I think we got to give ourselves a little bit of a pat on the back. Man, we just got a $10 donation from Jesus. Thank you for that, man. That's a big, just thank you for the $10. That's awesome for your support. And thank you to all those that were watching. Aram, I'm going to let you go before my final thoughts. Sir, we will see you again on a Monday night, likely in the middle of January. Merry Christmas. I know we'll talk more off camera, but for the camera, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and man, enjoy a little rest and a little time off.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everyone.
All right, bro, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
Cue the music. I'm on this Christmas lo-fi, copyright-free playlist on Spotify. Well, guys, thanks for joining the holiday party. 2025 high school football season is officially over. Santa Margarita. wins the Open Division State Championship. They're just the best. That's it. Now, will they get crowned national champions? I don't think so. I personally don't think so. But maybe one outlet out there might do it. Carson Palmer is certainly Coach of the Year in every publication. I mean, that's no spoiler there. He deserves it. What a heck of a job he did. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if there's many ladies out there, but mostly gentlemen, thanks for watching, guys. What a great season it's been. Episode 17 concludes the 2025 high school football season and 2025 year. We started in August. Here we are in mid-December. It was all because of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't already, please like the video. And if you're watching and you haven't subscribed to the channel, it's a click of a button. I'd really appreciate it. We are onward and upward. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what I'm going to say. Take the job seriously, but don't take yourself too seriously. Have a great Christmas. And remember, he's the reason for the season.